My name's Willis Matson. I'm a professional ecologist. I had a 28-year career with the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, the regulatory agency in the state that governs water, air, and solid waste, hazardous waste pollution. So I administered all of those programs in the northwestern region of Minnesota. I have about a 40-year experience dealing with crude oil pipelines. As I reviewed the environmental assessment for the DAPL pipeline, the first thing I spotted was that under federal law now, a project proposer is actually allowed to write their own environmental assessment. The Corps of Engineers reviews it and then endorses it, but it is basically the company's own assessment of the character of their own project. So when companies are allowed to regulate themselves, they have basically captured the regulatory arena. They go further than that by lobbying legislators to ensure statutes are written with fine points and loopholes, that they know where they are and they'll slide through the loophole when it's convenient to them. They also know that regulatory agencies are very jealous of their budget and their staff and their authority. If they own a good segment of the legislator, the lawmaking body, they can hold an agency's budget hostage. If you don't conform to a particular way of doing things or allow a particularly well-moneyed project to move ahead, a regulatory agency will pay the price in its budget, its authority, its resources. They capture the entire spectrum of the regulatory process, from the statute to the rulemaking to the agencies that implement and enforce the rules. They go right back and write their own rules, write their own statute, which then set the parameter for the rules, and then hold the purse strings on the agencies that implement and enforce those rules.
I'm Bob Merritt. I have a bachelor's in geology and a master's degree in hydrology. And I have extra training through the U.S. Geological Survey in surface water, groundwater interactions. I worked for the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources as a hydrologist for this particular area for 32 years. Another part of the problem with the fact that the industry is allowed to write their own environmental impact statements, they employ consultants, private businesses. And when you have a pot of money as a client, you want to keep that. You want to hold on to that money coming in. So you want to come up with a finding that the company or the individual who's paying your paycheck wants. So there is a sector in our scientific field who prefer to have their paychecks and will do what they can to justify what their money source wants. And in so doing, they obfuscate and they actually lie.
We just learned from the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change that we have 12 years left to turn the corner. Our government right now is incapable of turning that corner unless citizens, Native American and non-Native American alike, grab hold of our government by the throat and say, do this, get this right, save our planet. When government doesn't listen, they have to be shouted at louder. If we have to stand in the front of the caterpillars, if we have to stand in the trenches where they want to put the pipe, we have to stand in the way of the legislators not letting them get into their office where they're selling us out. That's what we have to do. We have to get in their face We see women get in the face of a legislator in Congress in the elevator, to make them listen, make them look them in the eye and say, listen to me. You're playing with my right to have clean air, clean water, and good food. I'm not going to let you do that.